Moving to California, I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. Wait a minute, that's not how it goes. It goes, now it's time to tune in to New Job Who Dis. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, lover squeezes, lover cheeses, one and all. Thank you for coming back to New Job Who Dis Friday edition, coming back from a recap episode that was so necessary. I felt like the time I had in Milwaukee had to just get wrapped up in a nice, neat bow or a messy bow, however you look at it. But we needed to tighten it up because we are moving to California. Thank you for tuning in, my 10 listeners. I know who you are. Germany, Malaysia, and Mexico are on the board as well. Thank you for tuning in here at the Apple Podcast Network, on Spotify, on Podbean, and here, of course, if you are watching on YouTube, on my channel, Halston Body, your lovely host and guide through my experiences of 25 plus years in the job industry. I've been around the block, I've done some things, darlings, and I need to talk about them. I need to share them with you because maybe, just maybe, there's somebody out there watching and listening who is struggling with career choices or paths or hope in their day-to-day of like, how do I get to the next level? How do I get to the next step? Whether it's up or down, where it's left or right, how am I going to get there and what does it take? I don't know, because I didn't know. I didn't have the answers. I had to figure it out myself. I had to fail. I had to land on my face. I had to take chances and big ones. Good God, I could have failed harder. Oh man, there are some times that I was on a tightrope and I absolutely could have fallen off and busted my face and my whole body. I don't know where I could be right now. But somehow, by the graces of the choices I made and the fates aligned, I am what you are seeing today, what you are hearing today. I'm Halston Body, the prism of excellence in the pro wrestling managerial world and beyond. Let me tell you that. But we have a lot to cover because guess what? We are moving out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin after 26 going on 27 years of being in Milwaukee and winters and adventures in many jobs, from retail to bartending to working at the phone company to moving to Detroit and getting a degree in audio broadcasting, connecting and landing a bullseye job of my dreams, working for the radio station, the top 40 pop radio station I grew up listening to. And it was still to this day, Hall of Fame. One of my favorite jobs in the entire world was being on radio and popping that mic open and listening to the jams of the day. Loved it. Still love it. But I'm not there. That was then. This is now. So I decide, after kind of turtle flailing on my back and not sure what to do after my short, quick, and dirty radio career in Milwaukee. I was working for the phone company, I was bartending, I was sowing my oats in the streets of Milwaukee, but I had no direction, I had no goal, I had no dream in my pocket. And one of my closest friends, my best friend at the time, my sister in sin, Steve, grabbed my wrist at one point and said, "You got to get out of here, kid. You're bigger than this town. You got to do something with this energy I see in you. I don't know what it is, but you got to get out of this place if it's the last thing you'll ever do." And it was. I stared at customers across the bar coming in for their 2-for-1s, their 3-for-1 bourbons on a Tuesday afternoon and drinking their job that they hated away. And I felt like if I did not move, if I did not take a left turn and, looked for Albuquerque, I was going to be stuck there doing that or trading places and being the guy at the end of the bar, drinking his regrets away. And somehow through synergy, I was on the internet and met some gentlemen who became friends. We became genuine friends. There was not a lure of romance. There was not a, hey, I want to date you. Hey, I want to be with you. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? None of that existed. The eye was open, but it was not that. And he discovered that I'd never been to California in my life. And he said, hey, young man, come to California. Find out how it is out here. And I was making money at the phone company. I had paid vacation. Thank you, union vacation rules, I guess. I don't know. I got vacation. And I decided to visit California in February of 1999. Changed my life and perspective forever because I left very cold weather and went out here to 70 plus degree weather. And I couldn't believe it existed because my perspective was California was on television. California was Hollywood. California was the riots that I watched in the early 90s on television. California was OJ on television in the 90s. California was Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. It didn't seem real. I mean, yes, it was real. Not like some flat earther that thinks that California didn't exist or is an illusion because it is only on TV. It's not what we're talking about here. What I mentally did not place in my head was that you could just live out there. Very Midwestern train of thought, very hardworking, disciplined, gotta work until you die kind of perspective that I had. And here I meet this guy who's working a day job from his home. He was a autograph peddler on eBay 20 years ago. How about that, huh? Early days of eBay. He was selling Hollywood autographs on eBay. He was also, come to find out later, and this isn't really important to the story as far as how it affected me, but he was also weirdly connected to the mob. That's a whole nother podcast, but yeah, perhaps some of his computer equipment may have fallen off a truck. Maybe it did. Allegedly. Is that the way to get out of it? Allegedly. Yeah, I discovered this later on in life, but this was, he was just this guy. He was a nice guy. His name is Dennis, and he said, come out and visit. And I visited him. Very nice. Sushi on every corner. Are you kidding me? I had sushi once when I was in Milwaukee, and that was in 1991. And if I thought about sushi after that point, I could almost taste it. It was so good to me. I loved sushi. And I come out here to California. We're out here in the Shokes, Sherman Oaks. And sushi bar in every corner and cheap. What? Yeah, it's just quick and dirty sushi out here all over the place. Oh my God. So I get 70 degree weather all the time at least. It's going to get hotter in the summer, maybe get a little cooler in the winter, but that's hoodie weather. Sushi on every corner. What else you got? Hollywood? Okay, great. Sunshine? Great. Places I've never been? Great. What else? Couldn't convince me much further than that. I was in. How do I get to California? That was my new goal. I suddenly had direction. That was the direction I needed, the kick in the butt. But the problem was I didn't have a goal. I didn't have a dream in my bag to take with me. I was in radio, but I couldn't go from the 28th to 30th largest market in the United States to number 2 in Los Angeles. That wasn't on the books. I didn't have that. But it was one of those moments where there was no Hollywood dream. I was not out here. I didn't decide to go to California because I wanted to be an actor or a singer or a dancer or a performer or an entertainer. I just wanted change. And boy, did I get it. Wow. Packed it up. I set my sights. I budgeted my money. I worked the hours. I chased the dollars at the bar. I made some decent money at the phone company. Had credit cards. That'll help, right? And I decided to pack my life and move to California. I rented a 10-foot moving van. I packed it to the hilt with whatever I could take that I wanted to keep. And I pretty much kept it because I lived in a one bedroom on the east side of Milwaukee. I did not have storage. I had a closet, but I didn't have any sort of like storage where I had all my life's belongings. I had a twin bed. Didn't really need that. I was going to go out and live with this guy so I could crash his couch. He had a king-size bed. I could crash there too, and I did. Didn't need that. What else could I fit in this car or not fit in this car? Plus, he had a garage too, and he had a backyard. So I had some storage to work with when I got out there to land on my feet and figure it out. I shouldn't have brought all the baseball cards that I collected. Oh, yeah, no, I brought all the baseball cards with me. All of them, because I felt those were some value and worth. Not the way I had them, not how I treat. I mean, no, I didn't treat them poorly, but I wasn't doing any sort of grading system, and I wasn't doing any sort of like putting them in, pristine plastics at all costs and not dinging a single card so that I could sell them for top dollar. Oh no, these were just piles and piles and piles of years and years of, and I had a few rare cards. I had some good ones, but why did I traipse 10 boxes? I brought all my CDs out as well, by the way. So I had like 20 boxes, and it was between that, it was CDs and baseball cards. But that's what I owned. I didn't have furniture. I had a stereo. I had my CDs, my mixtapes. I had baseball cards. I had my memory box. I had clothing. I didn't have a lot. Did not have a lot of furniture to live with. So I was an easy move, realistically. But I still had to pack that 10-foot moving van to the hilt. Got it all in there. Great. Driving across the country for the first time, that was a fun experience. Woo! I stopped down. I think this is my stop down. So I started in Milwaukee, obviously. September of 1999. Why? By the way, Y2K frenzy. Is the Y2K bug going to explode in our face? And here I am taking this weird chance of a lifetime, driving across the country with no plan in place other than I have a place to stay. Oh yeah, no, if anybody ever thought that I was some brilliant guy who had this amazing plan to move to California from Wisconsin and break free from that Midwestern drudge of winter and booze and smoking and just the Midwest. Nope. I was on a wing and a prayer. Had no plan other than I've got a place to rest my head and bring my stuff. Now what? Here we are, 20 years later, going on 21, and whiz bang, kids, something happened, something stuck, something moved forward, but we have a long road to get through, so let's get to it. Drive to California, stopped in Iowa first. There was an acquaintance I knew from the internet who was like, yeah, you can crash here. Great, crashed there. It was like Des Moines. Left Des Moines, drove all the way across the country for the longest leg of the trip, and that was from Iowa all the way to Denver. Ooh, Nebraska is flat and has a lot of bugs. Wow. I've never seen so many dead bugs on a car in my entire life, or I should say my van. Wow, and it was boring. Yeah, cornfield. Get to the mountains. Finally, Denver. Crash there for the night. Life is good. Go from there all the way through Salt Lake. Get to Las Vegas. Had to crash. My body was dying on me. I needed a place to stay. My soon-to-be roommate in California hooks me up because he's a Vegas guy, and we talked about the mob or the mafia in some aspect. I don't know what aspect. Couldn't tell you. I have no knowledge of the names or the families. I could start peeling back that wallpaper, but we're not here to talk about that. I'm going to get in trouble. Listen, the point is, he got me a room at, how appropriate, the Westward Ho. Let that one sink in. Yes, just breathe it in, take it in. Oh yeah, the Westward Ho. And I had some cash, got my room. Never been to a Vegas casino, never been to Las Vegas. Where am I? Wow. I mean, again, adventure, a kid stuck in Milwaukee for 27 years, right? 99, I'm going on 27 years in Milwaukee. And I'd never seen the sights. I'd never seen the mountain peaks of the Rockies coming down through Denver, Salt Lake, those formations that I had to drive through to get there. Where was I? Holy smokes. Grabbed some cash, went to the casino. What do you mean, dollar margaritas? What do you mean? 50-cent hot dogs, free booze? What? Played my first slot machine in Vegas. It was called Tic Tac Disco. It was an amazing game. I wish I could play it again. It was great because the bonus game, it would do the Wheel of Fortune chant like the crowd does. They go, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, right? They did the similar thing. So if you got the bonus thing and it lit up on the board, it would go, Tic Tac Disco. It would just start clapping and the disco beats would happen. It was great. I was... For as somebody who grew up as a video gamer in my life, let me explain out loud that playing slot machines with bonus games, that's a dangerous place for me to be because I will want to put all of the quarters and all the dollars in there to play the game and win. Oh, boy, I've learned my lesson. That being said, I had a fun time. I think I ended up walking out with like $41. Wow, my first Vegas win. Hooray. Great. Got some sleep. Drove the next day. Here was a new adventure to me. I'm driving up the 101. Now, mind you, I somehow went the long way around. I did not know. We did not have Waze. We did not have Google Maps. We did not have Apple Maps. We had maps. We had Thomas guides, but I had a paper map. And no cell phones. What? You have to pull over and actually get a quarter and call using a payphone on the road. Listen, seems like the Stone Age is 20 years ago, but this is what I was doing. Just winging it and praying that nothing went wrong. Because a whole lot of could have went wrong. I could have fell asleep on the road. I could have had a flat tire. I could have had so many things go wrong. Car accident. I could have gotten lost and driven somewhere I don't know. First time, just hitting the open road. Hello, Los Angeles. Your boy's waiting for you. Hello, Los Angeles. I'm here. Driving. Somehow I got on the 101 and had to drive north. Coming from the south up through downtown instead of I don't know how I got from Las Vegas. I could have just been on the 210 and getting in. And for those who are in California, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I could have came in off the 14. I could have came in from the north. Somehow I ended up coming up the 101 through downtown. And before I got to downtown, I encountered something that I had never encountered before in my life, driving anywhere in the history of time and space. And that is a police officer or a freeway, the highway patrol, all of a sudden just stopping traffic to weave all and back and forth across the road to stop traffic and keep us at bay. Here I'm driving this 10-foot moving van, and all of a sudden traffic just stops. What? We got real close to hitting somebody because I had to hit the brakes and hit them hard and pray. Because I was like, what is this behavior? Had no idea. Never seen that before. Planted my flag in Sherman Oaks, California. Look it up on the map. It is in the San Fernando Valley, right next to the 405 freeway and the 101. How about that for some California ease? You know I speak it. So there I was, living with this guy named Dennis. This living with situation was not going to last because I discovered several things about living with this gentleman. He's very angry, just a very angry person. Had some highlights, had some fun times, some fun conversations, but boy, I've never seen somebody get set off so easily by saying the wrong thing and then having to back. Oh man. So that was not online, great guy. On vacation, great guy. Living with him, different story. Now, I was in trouble because I didn't have a plan. I move out with this guy. I'm there maybe 2 weeks and I knew immediately this is not going to work. And I'm pretty sure within a month, it was clear to him it was not going to work. And I think the stage was set for him to say, you need to get out of here, kid. This is not going to work. Fair. 1,000% fair. I am not going to force the hand. There was no romance. There was no romantic endeavors. No. Nope. However, I was stuck living there. How do I get out of there? How do I earn my keep? Well, I knew what I had to do, and that is go back to the drawing board and go job hunting, hit the pavement, do all the things I've done for the last, 13 years, and that is chase work. Pick up the newspaper, look online, ask around, see what's available. Look for the now hiring signs. Pull up all the things. Remember, I packed my bags with a resume of retail management, mall work, right? It's like working in a mall. Some mall stores, there may be some sort of, wall you got to break through to work in a mall. But if you've already worked in a mall, you speak the language. I worked in music retail. I've worked in radio. I graduated from a trade school for broadcasting. I've worked in restaurants. I've done line cook work. I've done hosting. I've done expediting in in the back kitchen. I have done some things up to this point. I've worked for the phone company. So there's utility under the umbrella of job possibilities. Again, not out here to be in Hollywood, not out here to chase some Hollywood dream of, I'm going to be a star. Let me get off the bus and hope I can make it. Where's my headshot? Where's my agent? No concept. By the way, no concept of what that is at this point. I know that there are actors. I know that there are agents. I know acting exists. I know Hollywood exists. I know that there are film sets, there are movie sets, there are TV sets. It's not like some foreign concept in some magical mystery world that I don't understand. It's just that it doesn't, as a Midwestern kid who grew up poor and having not versus having, and not being a pretty person in the Hollywood typical way of headshots, glamour, chin, and makeup and models. Just some schlubby fat kid from the Midwest. What does this all mean? Nothing. I'm not a musician. I'm not here to be in a band. I'm not here to rock. I'm just some kid who wanted to get out of town because it was stifling me. But what am I going to do? What am I doing? The clock is ticking now. Oh man, we're with this guy living in his house in Sherman Oaks. That's nice. I'm being nice, taking care of his lawn, cleaning up the house, making sure I'm cleaning up the place and not being in his way. All my stuff's in the garage. I sell my baseball cards. I'm like, I don't need these where I'm going. Kept my CDs though. Gotta have those CDs. Woo. Some good stuff. So kept my media, but I had to get rid of the baseball cards. I sold them for way less than what they were worth. It didn't matter. I knew I had to dump them fast because, like, if I had to move out of this guy's place sooner than later, didn't want to drag those with me. So I got rid of those. So in a matter of, I believe, a month, it was a month's time, I dug and found and scratched my way to figure out that I could try to get hired at the phone company out here in California. Well, you ask, could you have just transferred? That's not how it worked. Different bell systems back then, different companies, different divisions in the United States that didn't talk to each other. So it's not like Ameritech in Wisconsin was like, hey, phone company in California, what's up? I got a guy out here who wants to work for you. No. None of it existed. They don't even know. Different infrastructure, different rules, different everything. So I got a job out here doing the most Midwestern thing that I had already been doing, and that is working for the phone company. I landed a job with SBC Pacific Bell. It's no longer SBC Pacific Bell. In fact, I believe it's AT&T now. I think it went through a couple changes in the last 20 years. It was SBC, or it was Pacific Bell, then it turned into SBC Pacific Bell, then it just became SBC, and then it went into, I think I'd have to look at the history, but it turned into something else, and then it went into AT&T. Long road of infrastructure and phones, but because I already had an experience being a maintenance administrator and sort of understanding the language of phone wires and lines and ownership and where the wires are being kept and who owns the lines and how does it all work. At least I had some sort of knowledge of what that meant, and I had experience. So they did put me through the ringer. I'm 99% sure I got the job listing in the newspaper, in the Los Angeles Times. They had the LA Weekly. That was a huge job listing place, but that's not what they were not advertising. And mind you, Craigslist really didn't exist like it did back then. So there was no like job section on Craigslist that I could look up. We're still in AOL land, mind you. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Perspective for how our brains think about the internet and phones and communication today and social media. None of that exists. MySpace didn't even exist yet. This was AOL. AOL and dial-up and emails. I had an email. I decided because I moved to California, I was going to collect all the emails of my friends and my parents and everybody, and I would send like a letter, a digest of my time in California so far. Because perspective again, I'm the first one out of the coop. I mean, I had the uncle that moved up north to Sturgeon Bay. I had the uncle that moved down south to the northern part of Elgin, Illinois, right? I have all these relatives that are really close to Milwaukee, but nobody left California? Ha! Are you kidding me? That's crazy talk, right? I mean, I was the first one out, so everyone was looking. It was almost, the way it felt for me internally is that I felt like I was taking this big risk that others were afraid to take or couldn't take. And when I finally just took the chance, everyone was peering through the window or waiting for the signal. Is he surviving? Is he alive out there? Right? They're all watching me through their television now. They're trying to what is this guy that left Milwaukee? What is he doing out there? Whoa. And that's my perspective. I don't know if that's true, but it just felt that way because everyone's like, you're going to Hollywood? You're going to Los Angeles? I heard there's riots there. What? No, that's not. But my time was ticking. I had to move out of this dude's house because it didn't become unpleasant, but I was no longer it was like, here's your landing pad. You got to move on from here, kid. And I was there for maybe 2 months at most. But it was because I was able to land the phone company job. If I land that job at SPC Pacific Bell, and Pacific Bell back then, money. And we're talking California money. Not that it was a huge difference, but it was a huge difference to me. Growing up poor, man, suddenly I was making California Union utility money and benefits. Wow. This is nice. Hey, money. Hey, high roller. Helped out with that quick move, and I had to do it quickly because tensions weren't high, but it was definitely like, yeah, this isn't a good place for me to be because we are not going to be friends if I stay here much longer. Just wasn't a nice guy. Ha! I can speak about this now because it's true. But yeah, so I was worried. How am I going to find a place in California? Where am I going to go? Like, okay, you've landed a job. Now what? Where am I going to stay? I decided to go out to the bars because I knew that's what I knew. I didn't go out to West Hollywood. I was tuned into a leather bar at the time. I guess that's what it was called, a leather bar. It was a leather bar called the Fault Line. And, I went out one night and met some people, and I met a dude named Alan. Alan was a wonderful human being. Got to know him. I'm new here from Milwaukee. I just moved here. I'm living in Sherman Oaks. Oh, wow. I live in North Hollywood. Great. Oh, let's meet. Let's hang out. Wow. Social encounter. Who's this dude? Romance. Did the phone ring? Wait a minute. Right? Me and this guy. Hey. So while I'm biding my time at Dennis's place and trying to save up enough bucks and figure out where I'm going to move to, because Dennis is looking at the calendar and the watch, and I'm going, oh, I got to move on. I got to figure this out. I got to figure it out somehow. Otherwise, I'm going to fail on impact. And it was real close. There was a time where I thought I am going to have to move back to Milwaukee right away because I failed upon impact. I can't get on my feet. I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't have a security deposit that I can just throw down in a California apartment right now. I need like 2 or 3 more months to gather some of that high income money working for the phone company. Got to figure it out. Now, the job itself was a learning curve. This is 611 repair in Southern California. That was the job I was doing. I was taking phone calls from customers who their phone line was down. No cable modem, no internet DSL yet that we were dealing with. We were strictly phone lines. It was a busy time in 2000, 2001, 2002, because cell phones like we know them today did not exist like they do today. Yes, there was cellular phone technology, but no, it wasn't the thing. People still depended on their home phone. Yeah, I'm an old man who lived in the time where we had telephones plugged into the wall, and that's what we depended on. And it was it was a fine job. It was very busy during another culture shock thing that I had to learn out here in California by working at 611 Repair and getting my druthers to try and move out on my own and as fast as possible. I didn't realize that there's no real seasons out here, at least at that time. There's different seasons now than there were back then. But it was summer pretty much the entire year. There was a winter dip, a little bit of a cool spot. But then in January through March, it was rain season. What? What is that? Oh, I found out real fast. Because, yeah, when I first moved out here in 2001, 2002, and the early years, I was like, it rained like every day. No thunder, no lightning. Just rained every day for like 2 months straight. That made business at the phone company poppin'. Holy smokes. Because everyone's phone lines got wet. They were baking in the sun for 9 months out of the year, out in the California desert sun. and all of a sudden it rains, zip, zap, zop, boy, oh boy, my phone line doesn't work. And man, it got hot because people were angry. That's their only line of communication. They didn't have a cell phone. They didn't have a second line in the house. It was even hotter when customers were trying to run a business out of their house with phone lines and a fax line. And now, mind you, just a little inside secret, I have to give you the benefit of the doubt, listener and watcher and viewer. You know that a fax line is really just a phone line. It's telephone dial tone. Just because you plug a fax line into it doesn't make it a fax line. There is nothing different about a fax line than a telephone line. But people would get super mad because their fax line was down. And then you'd tell them, I swear to God, I took this call so many times. Did you unplug the fax machine and plug in a telephone to see if you got dial tone? You'd hear this pause, and they would go, but it's a fax line. What? Come on. Like, yeah, no, people don't know technology. They still don't know technology. If you think your grandpapa or your grandmama is slow on the take with iPhones and computers and the video games of 2020, it existed 20 years ago. People did not know that telephone lines were just dial tones. Like, they thought there was something magical about a fax line that was different. And because they were the other level of Karen entitlement was so rich with people that were running businesses out of their homes. Guess what? The phone company doesn't know you're running a business out of your house. We don't know that unless you decide to pay for a business line. If you want to pay more money, have a dedicated line for your business that will be at higher levels of service, and you need that dedicated line because you can stay in business, you can pay for that. Yes, but no homeowner and unless you are loaded, you are not running a business line out of your home phone. Again, unless you're balling, right? Unless you're a baller, you can do that, but not average Joe trying to do something out of their house, out of their computer, selling things on eBay, whatever they're doing, and they need a fax line or even just a telephone line or an internet signal for their AOL and their modem. Got to have that dial tone. So, yeah, we were very busy in the rain system to the point where, get this, I worked there for 4 years. I worked from 2000 to 2004. So about 4.5 really, but at the end of the day, it was 4 years, fairly. At one point, I think this was 2002 going into 2003 2002 going into 2003, the rain season was so busy. I mean, we're talking hundreds of calls in queue. You could work up to 16 hours in a day. That's you would have I think it was 2 lunches, 2 half-hour lunches and 3 breaks. But you could work 16 hours, you had 8 hours in between shifts. You could come back and work another 16. You could work all the unlimited overtime. You could work your pants off in about a 2.5 month span. So 10 weeks. If you wanted to jam it in, this was the time to do it. And 1 year I did it so hard. And I did the trick where you undo your tax bracket for a paycheck. You say, I want no taxes out of this check because I need it. I'll make it up at the end of the year. And I did it. And I think I had one paycheck paid for a used car in cash. That's how much I was rolling at the phone company in California. Because years go by and they have the raises and you have overtime and time and a half and double time and you are killing it. I think I made, I want to say, at least $5,000 that check. If not, it was less than 6 for sure, but it wasn't like 5,900. It was like maybe 5,200, I think. And I mean, I was working though. I didn't have a life. I think I did 2 weeks in a row of 65 hours. I think I had 1 week where I did 70 hours. But it was wash, rinse, repeat. You were doing the job. You were making it happen. You were constantly taking the calls. You were busy, and it went by really fast. But you needed to be there, and we made that money. And it was a fine job. Again, I made decent money. I made some friends working there. We'll pause the tape on how the job went because I want to talk about I survived. My romantic interest at the time, Alan, heard my plea. Man, I just moved out here. Man, I just landed this job, but I need to move out of this dude's house. Alan was not in a position to take me in. He was living with 3 very lesbians. And, they're all in this big group house organization thing. And it was a mess. And they were planning to move anyway. They were moving to Sherman Oaks. They were planning to buy a house. So they couldn't take in this wayward dude that was just kind of, I just got here, help me out. I know we've made out a couple times, help me out, Alan. It wasn't like that. So, we became friends and he heard my plea. Oh my God, if I don't find a place to stay, I am going to have to move back to Milwaukee, even if I have this job, because I don't know where to go. I don't know anybody out here. And again, could have failed on impact because of my lack of planning. But again, I wasn't on California AOL boards chasing down friends upon friends out here. I had one lifeline by the name of Dennis, and that was it. He introduced me to some of his friends. They weren't really lifelines in any way. They were just some acquaintances that I met. They were nice. It was fine. We didn't really become friends, like depend on you friends. But Alan was clearly the voice in the night that I needed. Like somehow he knew somebody, his friend in the local Los Angeles gay bear community by the name of Jim, just had his roommate recently move out of his apartment. Wait, what? How lucky am I? Do tell, Alan. Where does this friend Jim live? Well, it's glad you asked that. He lived 4 blocks away from where Dennis lived. No joke, no lie. I can map it out for you and show you the addresses. I'll say fairly 5 blocks. I'll say a good long 5 California blocks away from Dennis. One major street away, he was right there. I could have walked my stuff over. I mean, I had a car, so I didn't have to. But either way, yeah, it was right there. And he needed a roommate fast. And the rent price was right based on what I was making at the phone company for that first initial stepping into the position. I was like, oh, I can afford that based on what I'm making. Still had the credit card bills chasing me though. Ooh, that was a tightrope. It wasn't cute. It was not cute. I was choking because I had the expenses of moving. I had all this credit card build up over the last 3 years, 4 years. I mean, all the time I spent in Detroit living on those credit cards. All the times I was in college living on credit cards, sowing my oats in those last parts of the decade. Put it on credit because they were giving it to me. Hey, if you're just going to keep giving it to me, clearly I had something in me that said, you need to keep spending money. Oh, this is how they got me. But it's fine. It's fine. We're working. We're afloat. We're on a lease. We are paying bills. We have internet of our own. We're living in a bedroom. We're sharing an apartment. The guy I lived with, mixed bag. He was a roommate. We didn't become friends, like let's hang out and do cool things together kind of friends. I was dating his friend Alan. We started dating. Alan and I started dating. That was nice. Super nice. Ended within about a year and I want to say a year and 3 months. So it was a nice little California fling. Thank you, Alan. Guess what? Plot twist, Alan and I are still friends to this day. 20 years later, We reconnected. No harm, no foul. We just kind of two ships in the night. Dated. We're not meant to be together. Life is good, but I'm working at the phone company. Now I have my feet starting to land because I have a place to live. I can afford the rent comfortably. I can start to chip away my credit card bills, but it's just kind of this weird balance. And it's becoming an imbalance because I can't keep up. Well, how about this for a plot twist? Within 2 years, I'm working for this phone company. I'm, becoming a superstar. I already became a supervisor. Inside track on that. If you called the phone company back then and you called 611 repair, much like 911, you call 611 for repair out here. 611 repair. SBC Pacific Bell 611 repair. This is Bob. How may I help you? I need to speak to a supervisor. It's almost like the old Andy Griffith thing where they're like, you call up and you're like, police department? Well, I didn't want to speak to the police department. I wanted to speak to the fire department. Oh, hold on 1 second. You just take the hat off, put on the fire hat. Fire department. Being a supervisor at the phone company at that level was basically just the same job. You were just calling yourself a supervisor. You were calling yourself a supervisor, and you were allowed more time on the phone. That was it. Same knowledge. Same capability. You didn't have magical powers. You did not have some superhero powers. You could make phone lines work. You just had more time on the clock to be able to call places, call the repairman, see what the status was from the captain at the where the wires were leading to, like all the place, like you could do all the legwork, really. That's all it was. So I'm making money. But I'm not, I can't, I'm choking myself on credit. Real talk, I had, I think, $26,000 in credit card debt. And what was happening was I was basically treading water. So I would get a paycheck, pay down the credit card bills, leaving me with no cash. Use the credit that I could possibly use, start the cycle over again, pay the credit card down, use the credit to live and survive. I just was like treading water, not making any real dents on those credit cards. And the problem is I had too many credit cards. I had like 7 or 8. So it was like spread out amongst if it was one credit card, I could have knocked it down like a tree. But I had to spread the wealth amongst all these cards that I had built up over the years. Smart failure. Here's the plot twist. The roommate, Jim, has to move out. Okay, that's great. I'll find another roommate. I find another roommate. I believe his name was Tom. Tom was the worst roommate in the world. I'm going to sing it. Oh, God, he smoked. Listen, no hate on smokers, but when you're in a non-smoking building and you are in a non-smoking apartment and your roommate knows that you are smoking because he can smell it a mile away, and you tell him not to smoke, the object of the game isn't tape your vents with tape and then still smoke in your room. Worst roommate in the world. I could go on. That's another podcast. Then I got another roommate really fast because this Tom guy just clearly was amazing. Then I got another roommate by the name of David. David was also a piece of work. Just roommate foibles, one after another. And they didn't last very long, but it was fine because I was on the lease, so I could just bring them in. Well, plot twist, guess who comes knocking after about 2.5 years and needs a place to live? Dennis. He sold the house that we were living in, or he was living in, 6 blocks away. After I had left, I never saw Dennis. I didn't, hang on to him and we got to stay friends. Gone. Out of the picture. We were not meant to be cool with each other then. He moves out to the west side, way out west to Camarillo and up north. And he needs to move because I got a job about the same 6-7 blocks away in Sherman Oaks. All of a sudden I get he finds me on AOL or something. He found me on the internet. Hey man, heard you need a roommate. What? How? Because again, I was stuck. I was like, I need help. I need a roommate. Somebody, anybody know? Lazy internet. Do you have the internet? I need a roommate who I trust. Because I've had two that have been awful so far, and I've had to repaint the room once, and that carpet ain't cute. Listen, get it together. Dennis comes knocking. Now I have the power stick now. Yes, he can come live with me. I tell him about my credit card problems. He tells me because he's in the mob and he knows mafia people and he knows the way it works. Plus, he's an accountant. Wow. Hey, that's convenient. He knows money. Here I am struggling and choking and I can't figure out my money to save my life. He's like, I know a bankruptcy lawyer. Let me help you out. What? Why? The scariest time of my life. Scariest. Because it was fear of the unknown. I'd never, what do you mean bankruptcy? What is this? Am I going to wear a scarlet letter of B around my neck? Oh, you bankrupt. What does that mean? Did I lose in the board game of life? Did I pick up the wrong community chest or chance card monopoly? What does this mean? Oh, go have a consultation. First thing this lawyer says is stop paying your credit card bills. What? What do you mean just stop? Yeah, just stop. For 90 days, you have to show you're destitute. You have to show that you cannot pay your credit card. So for 90 days, stop paying your credit card bills. What? I am making phone company money. I am riding a bike at this time. Mind you, I didn't have a car yet. We got the car after that. That was our first car purchase. I rode my bike to work. It was a 5-mile ride, straight shot down Magnolia Boulevard, across the valley to the phone company in North Hollywood. So I didn't have a car expense. I didn't have car insurance for at least 2 to 3 years. Yeah, 2 to 3 years, easily. So I have a lawyer telling me not to pay my credit card bills that were choking me month to month with my money intake. And he says, just put a stop to that. Wow. All of a sudden I am loaded with cash. I'm cash flush. Of course I'm going to be able to buy a used car with cash. I think I bought some amazing Cherry Bonneville that Dennis's parents actually were selling because it sat in their garage and they retired, so they weren't going to use it anymore. This thing had it was like a 1989 or 88 cherry maroon. It was a car that was meant to be in the East LA and the Boulevard, souped up because it was pristine. It sat in a garage, so it had 40,000 miles and was just cherry. Oh, I got pulled over all sorts of. When I bought that car, I got pulled over by so many people. Hey man, you selling that car? So yeah, there I am filing bankruptcy, working for the phone company, and living a Midwestern life in California. It's really what it was. I'm working for a utility company. I'm riding my bike to work because I can. It's 70, 80, 90 degrees out. I can ride my bike to work. Oh, I got that coaster bike. My calves look delicious because I rode my bike for 3+ years before I got that. It was amazing. California. I could do that. Couldn't do that in Milwaukee. Too many hills, too much snow, too much rain, too much unpredictability in the weather. Not a bike ride in town at the time. Public transport, great. Bus, great. California, ride that bike, young man. Hit the open road. A little dangerous on those, a little scary at some points. However, the path I took was beautiful. So there I am, filing bankruptcy at 2002. Scared out of my mind. I was scared because after a while they start calling. And they keep calling. And good thing I didn't have a cell phone. Good thing I didn't have any other phone besides the home phone that I had. And I turned it off for 3 months, hiding from 7 credit card chases. Ooh, man, they were hunting me. I think in the last week before I actually went into court and filed bankruptcy and had it wiped because I just couldn't keep up. I was sinking. They wiped my record. It went so fast. I showed up with the lawyer. We got all professional, spoken to a tape recorder. Is your name this? Is this your social? Is this what you did? Is this some of your credit? Yep. Okay, you're clear. Bye. What? That was it? I sweated it out for 90 days, like anxiety ridden because, but mind you, cash flush all of a sudden. Oh, that was nice. Making that money, saving that money, paying the bills, not having a credit card, living in Sherman Oaks, being very Midwestern about my life. Gaining friends. Now, Alan and I broke up, but I gained a whole lot of bear friends. Gay bears. Oh, yes. If you need to look it up, look it up. That's a whole nother episode. I cannot go into it. Look it up. Through Alan and through dating him, I met all sorts of Los Angeles and Ventura County and Southern California bear folk. And that is where the identity crisis starts. Because, it's a long 20-year road to where we're at right now. Because back then I was still living that sow your oats, see the world, figure it out, taste the snozberries of your LGBT community, and I was stuck in bear world. Because that's all I kind of knew back from Milwaukee. That's kind of most of the people I hung out with was the bear critter types. The otters and the bears and the chubs and the beardy folk. That's who I kind of dated, pretty much. Yeah, no, that's pretty much what I exclusively dated. So I came to California, got connected to a whole new set of friends and people and influencers and life changers, all through Alan. Alan is the star and the light that kept me in California, the life preserver. And, I'm very fortunate. I'm still friends with him to this day. We're great friends. And, we talked about our history. And so we're going to leave this podcast, this episode, because there's layers that are going to come in. Now, it wasn't just a straight shot of 4 years at the phone company. Ta-da, life is good. Now what's next? A couple of things layered in. Bankruptcy was one of them, for sure. Changed my whole perspective. Changed my life. I mean, it was a game changer. Taught me a lesson. It was a spanking I needed because, boy, I could have been in deeper doo-doo with money if I did not have the guidance of a dentist to ease the pain of just go bankrupt. Just go bankrupt. Thanks, credit cards. You're the best. You and I are not friends. We are not friends anymore. I just want to make sure you are aware of that, so don't call me credit cards. Don't ever call me again. Lose my number. So that's where we're going to leave off. We are here in California. We are working for SBC Pacific Bell. We are a 611 repair maintenance administrator. We are taking phone calls. We are working overtime. We are making friends and influencing people at the workplace. We'll delve a little bit more into that into the next episode on Monday. But I thank you all once again for listening to New Job Who Dis. I am Halston Body. Please subscribe. Please like. Please comment. Please share. Please catch up if you haven't caught up. If you're just merging in, welcome. I thank my 10 listeners, my lucky 10, my solid 10. You're with me all the way, and I love you for listening. Thank you for keeping it with me. As I've said before, and I will say it again, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your sister, tell your brother. Tell everyone that you have listened, and you should listen to New Job Who Dis.